Good evening and welcome to Deux Garden. This will be a first video for me here in the garden. I have resided here now for about 7 years with my wife and daughter. This garden started out as a long-term project for us. The only thing that remains on this property from when we purchased the home is this Cornish Florida here. That's just now starting to get into bloom. So everything else that you're going to see here on this tour are plants that we have installed ourselves. So we sit on about just under 1/8 of an acre, so it's a very small suburban garden in Pennsylvania. With the new USDA zones that were released this year, we are now sitting in zone 7B, but pretty close to the border of 7A. So now I get to play with a little bit more temperate plants as we move along here with the climate shifting. So I like to zone push, I like to try cool things. I am a plant collector, and yeah, let's take a little tour here. I'm going to try to do this every week or maybe every bi-weekly to kind of show you what's cool, what's happening in the garden. So first plant here, this is Epimedium fergusii. There's not a whole lot going on up here in the front right now. This area gets a lot of hot afternoon sun during the growing season. So a lot of things really are just starting to come up. This is a very wet area too. A lot of the roof drains out into this front bed. This here is Iris Purple Flame. This was a selection out of Mount Cuba Center in Delaware. One of the cool plants that's coming up right now is this is Cranby cordifolia. This here, I moved into this spot last fall from the backyard. I kind of wanted to have it out here with the texture that it provides. And yeah, I was kind of weary about moving it in the fall because it's, a zone 7 hardy plant. But hey, it survived winter no problem, and here it is. This is a cool little thermopsis called Sophia. Here's a little plant that I just installed last week. This is Gunnera tinctoria. Yeah, one of those, not really hardy to this area, but I want to give it a shot and see how it goes. Always wanted to try to grow it, and I think now it's time to try. As you can see, a lot of the daffodils are kind of wrapping up their season. Getting some of the erythroniums are starting to push. Actually really cool. This is the Epimedium here. This is Domino. This is the second year for it here in the garden. So first year I've had flowers for it. So kind of exciting to see that. So this Epimedium here, this is Butterfly Effect. So this came out of Isima. If you've never heard of Isima, they are out of Rhode Island. Ed and Taylor are the owners and operators of that business. Small mail order nursery. I would definitely recommend to check them out. Their website is Isima Works. That is ISSIMAWORKS.com. They grow all sorts of really interesting plants. Great plants people, very good, becoming very good friends of mine, I would say. As I'm a very, as Ed puts it, a repeat offender of purchasing from them as soon as they release new plants every couple of weeks. This Epimedium back here, absolutely showstopper this spring. This is Ninja Stars. Really nice foliage. The contrast of the yellow flowers off that bronze leaf is really something spectacular this time of year. And then right behind it, we're going to shift over to, which is becoming one of my favorite Epimediums. This is Amber Queen. this blooms for a really long time here in my garden. And with this particular spot where I have it, it gets a really nice amount of afternoon sun during the early summer and late summer months. And this epimedium has never been fazed by it. This has been in the garden now for 3 to 4 years, and every year it gets better and better. And yeah, if you're looking for an epimedium that can handle a little bit of a sunnier, hotter spot, this has been absolutely great for that. But this resides right underneath one of my favorite Japanese maples that I have in the garden here, and I have quite a few. This is Japanese Princess. We're a little bit past peak now, but the coloration on this new growth, quite stunning this time of year. And I have it planted here just around this osmanthus, so the contrast in this dark green to these early spring colors it's just awesome right now. Swinging over into this part of the garden, another shady spot. This epimedium back here, this is the first year this is flowered for me. This is tarantula, so pretty similar to ninja stars, except the foliage is a little thinner and not quite as bronzy, but yeah, really cool plant. As you can see, I have a good little collection of epimediums. I would say I have upwards of 50 different cultivars in the garden. Just like this one right here. This is Flamethrower. So, you know, when we bought this property, like I said, we had the Cornish Florida. There were some arborvitaes in the back of the property, and then there was a really poor specimen cherry laurel and a poor lilac. And yeah, nothing else. This was all just turf and weeds. So everything here I put in myself. Really cool foliage on the podophyllum. That was a hybrid seedling that I purchased from Isima. I believe it was in 2021. This is the first year that I'm getting really cool coloration out of it. This epimedium here is another one that I got from Isima a couple years ago. I believe it's a Leonore, but yeah, the two-tone color between that purple and that white top is really something pretty cool. I'm assuming it has acuminatum parentage in it, not really quite sure. But yeah, really nice plant. Now this maple here, this color right now really just started showing up the last day or two. So this is Acer Pictum Usagumo, the batwing maple. So it's basically, you know, right now it's mostly a pale, liney, white to cream color leaf. And as the season progresses, you'll see more of the green chlorophyll pigments push through, and you'll have a green and white. But nonetheless, really cool plant. This here is Royal Purple. Really nice. I don't know why it's called purple, because in my eyes it's not really purple. I would say this is more of a pinky red, but you know. Anyway, it's really nice. So getting here to the backyard, this Daphne Genqua, which oversits our pond that I installed last year. This is Daphne Genqua, and the cultivar is Woodstock. This was a selection made by John O'Brien out of O'Brien Nurseries in Granby, Connecticut. If you know John or have ever seen pictures of John's place, you know he has some really cool stuff. If I remember the story correctly, this was a selection made at a property somewhere up near his nursery. Somebody had a Daphne Genqua growing, and the color was quite different than the other straight Daphne Genqua. So he asked permission, got permission for them to grow it on, and here now we have Woodstock. And we have this little trillium down here, which is Trillium cuneatum. I believe it's Saconet form. So Saconet Garden is up in Rhode Island, right down the road from Isima, which is in Little Compton, Rhode Island. And yeah, I guess this is naturally discovered growing at their place at Saconet Garden. And yeah, Ed's been growing it on and selling it. So yeah, that modeling is really nice. And these flower buds should open hopefully next week for everybody. This is the first time it's going to flower for me. So yeah, pretty exciting things coming for that. So let's take a little walk over the bridge of the pond. This is a new epimedium that I got this year. This is Sunny and Share. This is a selection made out of, I believe, Plant Delights Nursery, where Tony Avant runs the show. So yeah, really excited to see how this progresses. This is supposed to be a constant bloomer for quite a few months now. So yeah, you can see the flowers really tiny yellow, and yeah, it's gonna look pretty nice coming off that Sambucus, that black leaf Sambucus coming up. So it's a shame it's not a little sunnier out, but yesterday this Paeonia ostii was just, fully open. This is always my first of my tree peonies to pop. It's a very, very white peony, but the buds have a nice pink hue to them before they really open. So a really cool plant. If it's still open for the next video, I'll make sure to definitely show it to you. So this little garden space here in the back, this was a COVID project. This used to be all lawn in the back here, and then when COVID hit and kind of weren't working much, wife and I decided, hey, let's throw a little like dwarf conifer garden type thing in here, and yeah, it slowly evolved into just being a normal garden space with some dwarf conifers in there. But anyway, really cool to have this now. That's just a Mikawa Yatsubusa. I've had that here maybe 3-4 years. It was a very small plant when I got it, so it's growing nice and got some nice form coming in. This Paeonia here, I purchased it as a tenuifolia, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the tenuifolia hybrids and probably early scout, based on what I've been researching on it. But nonetheless, really nice plant. Not a lot going on back here in this backside garden. This polygonatum coming up, this is Spiral Staircase. This is probably my favorite time for this polygonatum, just because of how tight the leaves are coming out from the stem. And they have a slight spiral appearance when they leaf out fully, but this is my favorite time of it for this thing. So show you our lovely alleyway. Perfect, right? So this is a perfect little parking space that I put in a couple years ago. So on my tool shed here, this beautiful Gelsemium margarita just started opening yesterday. So I have a couple other jasmines growing in here with it, so I got a little influx of color. I believe I have a pink and I have a white one in here as well. So for the next couple of weeks, I'll have a little battling of colors. Once these yellows go away, the pinks come out, and then the pinks go away and the whites come out. So this epimedium down here, this is a Flamingo Dancer. This has been blooming for, I would say, at least 3, maybe 4 weeks now. So a really long blooming epimedium. It's pretty small. I wouldn't say, I don't expect it to get much taller than this because it's been about the same size now for close to 3 years. But yeah, very, very strong performer in my garden, and I think this is one to try if you've never tried this one. Really nice color, light pink top and more of a, I would say, a little magenta pink on the bottom. This Bergenia back here, this is Bergenia Pacumbus Green Monsta, another one of Isima's introductions. This is the first year that I've had flowers for it, so pretty exciting to see that. But the joy of the show of this plant is the foliage. So these leaves will get upwards of about 15 to 18 inches, big on this thing. So really, really nice foliage plant for the summer. Definitely going to want to give it some good shade. Prefers a little bit of a wetter soil. But yeah, really, really cool plant to get your hands on it. So back here is where the arborvitaes used to sit, and I just couldn't stand having arborvitaes in my garden. Great screen plant, but over time I wanted to make this into more of an interesting screen. So everything's still small, I can still kind of see the neighborhood around me. But as things grow in, it's going to be a really nice backdrop. So this plant here, this This is Cercis Golden Falls, so the Golden Falls Redbud, purchased from John O'Brien, once again from O'Brien Nurseries up in Granby, Connecticut, probably about 2 to 3 years ago, and it's really starting to get a nice form. I'm not going to stake it. I don't want it to go any taller because I want the plants behind it to really act as the screen. So this is what we're going to get out of this. But as you can see, there's some branches down at the base that are starting to trail along the ground. And my feeling on that is I'm just going to let them go as far as they want. So I could have pieces, 10 feet away from that trunk at some point. That's going to be pretty cool. See, as I said, I'm in zone 7B, and we're really just starting to come into life here in mid-April. So yeah, the goal is to really share this garden with everybody throughout the next couple of, hopefully years, and really see this thing transform. Every week there's going to be something different blooming in the garden. As I said, I'm a collector. Right now I currently have upwards of 1,300 different plants in this small 1/8 of an acre property. So I try to utilize every square inch possible, and yeah, it's always going to be something different if you look at it every time you're here with me. So yeah, thanks for viewing. If you would do me a favor, just like and subscribe to the video and the channel, and yeah, you're going to see some really cool plants as we get along in the growing season. And yeah, just turning around here, one more I want to show you. This is Sinalesis, the umbrella plant, and this is another selection out of Isima. This is called Tilt a Whirl. So the typical Sinalesis will have this whole cut leaf design, but it won't be a complete circle like this. You'll have more of a more open points in it. And then yeah, this is basically like an entire, like a tilt-a-whirl disc come a couple weeks when it's fully out. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, check back and subscribe, and you're going to see all this cool stuff come to life over the next couple weeks.